This is Tony Cañas, Chief Motivational Officer at Insurance Nerds and PNC Client Advisor at the Jacobson Group. And today I want to tell you a little bit of my story as an immigrant. And I am wearing my beloved Immigrants Get the Job Done Hamilton shirt. I am a huge fan of Hamilton. I've seen it 4 times, I think, and I'm going to see it once more before it closes. If you're in Chicago, it closes on January 5th. Go see it before it closes if you haven't yet. So, I am an immigrant. I was born and raised in Costa Rica, where I went to the American school. And the American school is very much meant to teach kids, to raise kids to study abroad, especially in the US. About half my class studied in the US. And that's exactly what I did. And I studied management information systems, and getting to my senior year of college, at the beginning of my senior year of college, the school career services people told me that I was unemployable. They explained that only engineers have any chance of getting an H-1B specialty worker visa. And I made it, but it was very hard. The hardest thing I've ever done, bar none. And going through it, I realized that most people have no idea because they were born here. So most people who were born here have not had to deal with the U.S. immigration system and have no idea what it's like. And you hear a lot of, why don't they just get a green card, right? Why don't they just become residents? Why don't they just start paying taxes? And I hear it less in insurance, but you hear a lot of that kind of in your personal life. And the answer is there's no path, there's no easy way to do it. And the reason that I'm telling this story here on my insurance channel is because I get a lot of calls from kids who are studying to be risk management and insurance majors or actuarial science majors, asking how to find a job. And the answer is there's no good answer. And I was hoping that maybe the community can help me find better answers. But in order to give you the context, I kind of have to tell my own story first. So I studied management information systems, and before graduating, I went to career services, and they said, you're basically unemployable. They told me this about a year before I graduated. So come career day or whatever the day is that all the employers come onto campus to take resumes and interview people, I showed up first thing in the morning and I met with every employer, about 70 different employers in every industry, and most of them would take my resume, look at it, see that I did high school in Costa Rica, immediately ask me if I needed to be sponsored for an H-1B visa, and when I said yes, they would just hand my resume back and say, we can't even take it. We're not allowed to sponsor. So we can't even have the conversation. And I ended up getting lucky, and I found a transportation company that needed a Spanish-speaking fleet manager and had never sponsored, so they were willing to do it largely because they had no idea what they were getting themselves into. So they sponsored me for my H-1B visa. At first, it was declined because my major wasn't directly related to my job. So my major of management information systems, which is a business major, was not directly related, according to the immigration, to my job as a transportation manager or logistics manager, which is also a business major, just not in the exact same field of business. So it was declined. We appealed, which was expensive. A lawyer was involved, and it was expensive, and we won the appeal, and I got my H-1B visa. Later on, I got married, got my residency. I am now a citizen. It was a long, arduous process. Whenever I get calls from kids studying risk management and insurance or majoring in actuarial science, I have the heart to deliver the hard message that your chances are very low. And even beyond those kids, I get a lot of messages, especially from India, about people who are working under CPCU asking if CPCU will give them a job in the States. And the reality is no, there is no chance. There is no chance that a company will sponsor you for a work visa when you're not already here because of your CPCU, going to engineering. And I have to drive them away from the industry. It's awful. And the kids who are already here and are studying risk management and insurance, the entire risk management programs in the States only feed 15% of our needs. on any given year. Support Gamma Iota Sigma, support your local Gamma chapter, and support your local risk management programs. Help us expand risk management programs to more universities. But some of the kids that those programs graduate, who are international students, don't have a place to go because no carrier that I'm aware of openly sponsors H-1B visas. Actuarial science majors have a better chance of sponsorship, not a great chance either. And actuarial science majors willing to work for companies with international operations who have interned in those companies before and who have a chance to show what they can do are in the best possible place, because those companies can try to sponsor them, and if the sponsorship gets declined, they can relocate them abroad to another one of their operations without the worry of the visa. So that's one option, but only for the kids that have an actuarial science degree, that have internship experience with companies that have international exposure, and companies that are willing to do that. For most of them, especially the RMI kids, it doesn't look like anybody actually sponsors. And what the best I've heard is there are some companies out there that do it on a case-by-case basis. They don't say out loud that they do it, but on a case-by-case basis. And I have not been able to find the list of companies that do it on a case-by-case basis. That is how little that is, and we're wasting this talent. We're sending it away. We're running it away when we really need it, and it's unfair to those kids. And we don't talk about it in the industry. The only conversations I've heard around this topic have been Gamma Said. I was part of a panel on Gamma Said that talked about it. That is Gamma Iota Sigma's diversity and inclusion area. And recently I heard that there was a panel at Temple RMI program about it. I'd love to see a video of that panel, by the way. Basically, to give you a quick understanding, if you graduate here in the US with a bachelor's degree or even a master's degree, in order to work for any company, if you're not an American resident or citizen, in order to work for any company, you need some sort of work permission. You can get an OPT, which means optional practical training, which can give you a year of work, and that's it. At the end of the year, you're done. You can't work anymore unless you get an H-1B. If you are in an engineering field or a STEM field, you can get a 3-year OPT. So in that case, actuaries probably qualify for that, and they can get 3 years of OPT. But after that, same story, they're kind of done. If you have a bachelor's and you do find a company to sponsor you, they have to prove that they couldn't find an American to do the job, which is hard to do with insurance, a little better in actuarial. It's an expensive process involving lawyers. It's probably $10,000 to do the application and the lawyer, and there's no guarantee, right? Even if you do everything right, even if your employer does everything right, there's only 65,000 per year, and there's hundreds of thousands of applications every year. So when they come in, they all arrive the same day, and by lottery, they choose out of the good applications who actually gets it. So there's a very good chance that you won't get it even if you have a sponsor. And the biggest thing I want from this video, I want to create awareness of this issue. And I want to hear from you. If you went through this process and an insurance carrier, especially in the PNC space, but insurance carrier in general, sponsored you for it, let's message me. I want to have a conversation. I want to build a database. I won't share your name. I want to build a database of the companies that are willing on a case-by-case basis to sponsor for H-1B visas, and whether it's only actuaries or also risk management majors. Help me build this so that I have better information to give to the RMI kids that ask me for it. So anyway, I have more information here about different business types, but we kind of ran out of time, and really none of them apply. The only option for young RMI majors graduating from college is an H-1B, or maybe they're really lucky, they're dating an American like I was at that time, and they get married. That's the other option. Unfortunately, not great options either way. So anyway, just wanted to raise awareness on that. I would love to hear your story, whether leave a comment or if you want to tell it to me in private, message me. I would love to hear your story about H-1B sponsorship and being a foreign insurance professional in the States right after college. Thank you. TC out.